We are out of the gates on Sport and State alongside Chad Withrow. I'm Jonathan Hutton. It's Hutton Withrow this morning. Glad you're with us on this Thursday edition. Chad, hope you're well, man.
I'm doing well, Hutton. I'm excited. I'm ready to bang some hats on a Thursday.
Explain to everyone what bang hats means.
Banging hats is the time of day when you look down at your clock, Hutton, and it's going to be a college football Saturday here this Saturday.
Yep,
Could be a Friday night for a lot of high schoolers out there.
no doubt.
And you start to look around, you look at that clock, and you say, boy, oh boy, what time is it? Oh, it's about time to bang some hats. And when it's time to bang some hats, it's time to strap on, it's time to put the helmet on, and it's time to literally bang hats. Hats being a football helmet. And that's just the mentality that we carry here on the show, Hutton. It's a football season mentality, but we carry it through all 12 months of the year.
I think you came up with this sitting next to Dick LeBeau. I'm being serious. I think this was at Titans training camp years ago with Dick LeBeau.
I have to give my buddy Chris Green credit for the line because this was probably around 2006, 2007, pretty fresh out of college, back for a Tennessee game. I want to say it was a Tennessee-Georgia game in Knoxville at some point, probably '07. And we're at the tailgate, and he's looking around. He's like, boys, it's about hat banging time by my watch. When he looked at his watch, by my watch, it's about time to bang some hats. So that's where it originated with me. Dick LeBeau probably has been said this for about 60 years before that even happened, Hutton. So that's we got to give ultimate credit to the great Dick LeBeau.
Man, what a legend. And he's a former actor, a guitar player. There's a lot we could get into with the Hall of
Friend
Famer.
of Michael Caine, the great Michael Caine.
Yeah,
Sir Michael Caine, did they knight him also? I believe he was knighted at some point.
He was the stunt double for Michael Caine. And he taught us how to speak Cockney. Remember this?
Yes.
How could we forget? He said, "My cocaine" is how you say Michael Caine.
Yes, that's right. He, a man of many talents, Dick LeBeau. But he knew when it was time to bang hats. And every morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time, 7 a.m. Central, that is our time to bang hats. So that's what we're going to do today. It's going to be a fun show, Hut.
SEC banging some hats, man. They're getting tough, Chad, all of a sudden.
The SEC has really come off the top rope and decided that, we are going to have some teeth to what we're doing. We are going to actually do something about people who are breaking our own rules. Instead of just sitting back and saying, well, our hands are tied, there's really nothing we can do, the SEC has decided to play ball against Lane Kiffin. And I want to reiterate this. This is not a sport-wide problem. As of right now, this is a Lane Kiffin issue that Lane Kiffin has tried to turn into something that is, it's something different. This is about the sport. We're just sitting here playing along with everything else going on. It was Lane Kiffin who initiated the players to go and sue the states or to sue through state courts to try to get eligible to come back. So Greg Sankey, at first time we asked the question, is he going to do anything about it? Where the Big Ten came back and said, we're not going to allow it. No one's permitted to go sign a pro contract and come back in any sport. And the first response, the first statement from the SEC, if you remember 2 days ago, was, we don't like it, we hate it, but we got to wait for Congress to act with the Protect College Sports Act. It's another example why that needs to happen. Then last night or yesterday, they come back and say, no, we're not going to allow it either. During the show yesterday, we were asking, what's the penalty going to be?
Right.
Because if it's just a fine, we know that Lane Kiffin and Will Wade, let's put it on LSU right now. It's the Death Star in Baton Rouge, okay? LSU fans can say whatever they want. You stand for everything that's wrong in college sports, okay? Let's just put that out there and be honest about it. Everything that every college football or college sports purist loves, you are against with your coaches right now in Lane Kiffin and Will Wade. I couldn't say that any more strongly, but it's absolutely true. And I'm not saying they're terrible people and not everyone else in college football wouldn't consider doing those things too. But you are the instigator. You are the first one to think about these things. You're on the cutting edge of being sleazy when it comes to this sport.
Kim Mulkey wants to be represented as well, Chad.
Kim Mulkey, Hutton, is bringing in a Russian 6'5" center with a Ukrainian already on her roster, prompting the Ukrainian player to leave the team immediately before her Russian counterpart that they are fighting in a war joins the team. Kim Mulkey will probably argue that she's trying to solve world peace by doing this. Yeah. But in fact, she didn't even think about it, I'm sure, when she did that. So anyway,
they're bringing down the hammer, though, on these penalties, though, the SEC.
half-season suspension for head coaches, SEC voting privileges revoked on business matters for the school in violation of the rule. A hefty fine, 50% of that sport's annual operating budget will be the fine. I mean, that's a death blow
This is
to
something that
someone.
Jim Harbaugh would do on his way out.
The
And
league
that's
retains the right to levy other penalties by Greg Sankey and/or SEC presidents, chancellors, if necessary. Um,
so
this is huge, Hutton. I mean,
it's
this
it's
makes it
huge.
impossible for someone
It's
to
impossible.
try to roster a player that played in the pros.
Totally, it's impossible based on these guidelines and rules. I'm a bit disappointed in the SEC though, and here's why. The Big Ten, this is the first time in a while I've seen the SEC reactionary to what the Big Ten was doing. I felt like the Big Ten started the reaction here by the SEC. Had it not been for the way the Big Ten reacted, we would have just watched LSU add these players. And instead, this is coming over the top to emphasize whatever Petiti and the conference of the Big Ten has said. I don't know. It's very rare that I see the SEC and Sankey react to a Big Ten decision, and this was that. I mean, I don't know how else to look at it.
So the biggest example, it's a great point, Hutton. I think the biggest example I can think of reactionary move is the SEC's move with COVID. Because
Right.
if you remember, the Big Ten was like, we're canceling.
Yeah, we're not playing.
Kevin Warren basically had to leave after
Yes.
everything happened. It was so bad.
Even though
But
his
we're not going
son
to
was
have a
playing.
season. We're gonna abide by Tony Fauci and everyone else who's telling us not to do anything. So we're not going to have a season. We can't play
Right.
football. We've talked personally with Greg Sankey about this whole process where he went to his team and all of the doctors and everything and said, give me a reason how we can play. Give me the how.
Solutions.
Don't tell me that we can't. Look for solutions as to how we could play, how we could do it safely, how we could do this and that, right? The SEC found a way, and they announced they're going to have this season. Well, then the Big Ten was forced to change course and have a season, right? It was limited,
Yes.
more limited than the SEC, but they had a season. That was the Big Ten admitting, boy, we look really bad here. The SEC got it right. We got to do something about it, and they changed course for that reason. In matters of discipline, Hutton, the SEC is often far behind, and I love the SEC, but let's be real about it. If it comes to anything that limits their coaches and their ability to go get top talent, the SEC is not going to be the trailblazer that's going to levy penalties against teams or coaches.
Yeah.
The SEC is the trailblazer when it comes to let's have our own network that's going to make a ton of money. Let's partner with one network and ESPN and make sure that we are the monopoly of this major sports network.
Yeah, we'll let the university handle their stuff. Yeah.
Let's have a conference championship game, back in the day. Like all the different money-making ways.
Let's make money.
The SEC is something. They're always first in that, right? It's everyone else reacting to the SEC. But Hutton, when it comes to let's do what's right for the integrity of the sport, it's never the SEC leading the way or being the trailblazer. It's never the SEC coming up with the perfect discipline for someone. In this case, you are 1,000% right. It was the Big Ten that set the agenda with what they said. Greg Sankey and the SEC, they looked toothless with that first statement. And then he got all the presidents together and said, guys, we all know this is ridiculous. We got to do something about it. I give them credit for doing it. Even if it was slow, even if it was reactionary, it's better to do something than to sit back and be stubborn and do nothing. I like what the SEC's done here. I think it makes it impossible for Lane Kiffin to bring these guys on. I think it makes it impossible for Will Wade to bring on RJ Luis or anyone else, even after their emotional courtroom hug when he got granted the injunction to possibly play at LSU. So this is a good thing for the SEC. I think it's a good thing for college sports.
What do you think the same thing would happen if this were any other coach in the SEC other than Lane Kiffin? Because I think Sankey is just done with him.
I do, because I think it still would have been the reaction of the Big Ten. Let's say this was Kirby Smart, who I think, Greg Sankey gets along with really well and has won multiple national titles.
Let's go further down. Let's say like Missouri. Let's just just a team that's not competing for a title, that is just scrapping inclined to try to make their way to the next tier in the conference. I'm trying to view it from, is this because it's the level that it is? I think that does play some into it.
I think it would have happened the same way. And here's why. It makes a bigger difference because it's Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
Certainly. But the big story when all this broke was I mean, take the name out, take Daquan Wright out of
Yeah,
it,
the name
the
doesn't
name, or
matter.
TJ Harden or whoever. It was in big, bold print, NFL player trying to go back to college football to play another year, right? It
Yeah.
was NFL rostered player,
Rosenhaus. And
someone who
yeah.
just had 2 sacks, the guy from
Yeah.
LSU. Guys who just carried the ball in NFL preseason games. They all decided to come out, and they're going to cite like, well, this guy went through the early process and came and all. It's different, guys. It's different, and if we keep just pushing this thing further and further along, Hutton, we talked a couple days ago about the ramifications eventually of if you're going to get an injunction, if you find one willing judge to do it,
Right.
what's to stop a guy who's got to retire at 28 from the NFL, who's got 6 or 7 years under his belt that said, hey, I left after my junior year. I got my 4th and 5th year left
Yeah.
based on the NCAA eligibility. I'm going to sue in this state and I'm going to go and I'm going to be a star in college again. I mean, it's that dream we all have every so often of going back as a grown person. And how would you handle high school all over again? How would you handle this situation as an adult? How would you play in that sport if you were in your late 20s, right? Instead of being a high school kid. It's the same for college. It's the same dream that I'm sure a lot of ex-college athletes have that would want to come back to the sport. So the SEC and the Big Ten are going to lead the way. We've seen the Big 12 now. We've seen other conferences come along and say, yeah, we're not going to allow it either. But it was necessary for those two leagues to do something about it and to stop it. And I'm glad they did. Kudos to the Big Ten for being the leader in this one, Hutton. But I am glad the SEC eventually followed along.
Yeah, and you know what? The fact that it's LSU and Kiffin makes it easier for all the presidents to sign off on this.
Mm-hmm.
That's
a good point.
That makes it very simple. But signed, still delivered. Yeah, these are the harsh penalties because it's not my coach, right? And I know LSU abstained from the vote or whatever. But I mean, as you would expect.
Here's the example, Hutton. What if it was Nick Saban? What if this was a couple years ago, a few years back, and Nick Saban was still the coach, and he was the one saying,
"Oh,
hey, you've got no legal standing here. This is happening all over the sport. I'm going to do it." Would it have been more difficult for the SEC to do? To me, that's the one example that maybe they wouldn't have done anything because it was Nick Saban.
I miss Jimbo, though. I miss Jimbo calling people out, because he would call out Kiffin publicly, too. The clown or whatever he would say.
I don't know why more don't call Kiffin out, honestly. I don't get that.
Yeah.
I feel, and a lot of them are friends with him, too. I mean, they've talked about the group text they're on with Kirby Smart and all the guys who coach for Nick Saban. So I'm sure that's a part of it. But I just specifically, there's a lot of people that's like, hey, we don't think it's right, but we got to look into it. And, but I think we need to be talking more about the Lane Kiffin of it all.
You know what else that comes to mind for me? And again, I'm going into the weeds here, but these players have a taste of the collective bargaining agreement. Like they know what they don't have in college, and they spread the word. And they've got Rosenhaus coming in. I mean, again, there's a lot of layers to this. Rosenhaus, to my knowledge, has not been very vocal on NIL. He would be the voice of the players. I'm just throwing that out there. Like it doesn't take a superstar to get it going. It takes an agent to get it going.
Brooks in the chat asked the question, does this fit the national narrative that the Big Ten is the big dog on the block now? The SEC used to be the leader on all things, as you discussed with COVID, but now it seems like it's the Big Ten. Yeah, I mean, they've won the national championships recently in football. That matters more than anything else. And Hunt, I don't think they ever stop being the leader when it comes to like academics and discipline and things like this. It's the stuff that SEC fans laugh at, right? That honestly, like, well, we stand for more. We're the conference of legends here in the Big Ten. We stand for leadership and all this. And SEC fans just kind of laugh like, ha ha. That means that you lose football games, right?
But personally,
well, now they're winning football games too.
I think of the Big Ten and I think of 4 or 5 programs. That's it. When I think of the SEC, I'm thinking about all of them collectively.
The depth is different.
Yeah, I mean, if you're being honest with it, it absolutely is. I would also say I want to hear from Greg Sankey all the time. Do we know what Tony Petitti sounds like? Could I pick his voice out of a lineup?
I don't.
I mean, that's there's a lot of statements. I'm just like the face of college sports is Greg Sankey.
Now, Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti handle this the same way, where they're just releasing statements, to the media and out on social media.
But
they're not talking
at the podium
about
at SEC Media Days, right?
Yeah, yeah. and I don't know. I don't go to Big Ten Media Days. I'm sure that he speaks or does some
Yeah, I'm
interviews or
sure he
something.
does.
But look, these guys are allowed to kind of be
And part of it's the ESPN deal too. I understand that.
well, they're the Wizards of Oz, right? They can be behind the green curtain
They
all they want and not speak if they so choose.
exactly.
They don't have to. I'm fine with just the statement. Like my thing is just action. I don't need
Same.
to hear you talk about how bad it is or how you need Congress help or any of that, as long as you are acting and doing something within your power. We long said on the Arion Carter situation, where's Greg Sankey? You could release a statement on that saying the NCAA is wrong. We back Tennessee. He doesn't need to be suspended at all. The kid paid it back. These are archaic
That's right.
rules. We need to go back and look at all those rules. The NCAA rule book has always needed to be shrunk, right? It's way too thick.
It's
There's way too many stupid rules.
way too many rules that don't matter anymore.
Make it simple. Make it easy for every coaching program to understand. Their kids are going to get paid. We know that already. No one's trying to stop that now. It's never going to go back to the way it was before that with under the table payments. Just make it where there's a system in place where it feels like it's fair for everyone. And then we kind of go back to, all right, the programs that have, the best fan bases, bigger fan bases, facilities, tradition, history, all those things, coaching, they can then have the upper hand instead of it just being a pay for play money situation where it's very much year to year. That's where the college sports fan wants it to get back to, in terms of, okay, not everybody, because Vandy's now a player all of a sudden because they can pay.
Everyone
top
is.
dollar. Indiana don't want to go back to the old way.
Right.
Either. I get all that. If you're paying equally amongst every school, then suddenly some of those programs go back to not being the most desirable places for players to go. But there's just got to be rules in place. It's not where the sport is right now is not always going to be acceptable. Is it acceptable now? Yes, because we are starved for football at all times.
And
we're going to watch college football no matter what.
And I totally agree with you. We got week 0 talk coming up too later in the show, which you said there's 8 games.
8 games. 8 games.
Final thought for me. The as far as these players are concerned, these are really good college football players. They're not great college football players. They're really, really good. I mean, they're undrafted players that we're talking about here. Now, there are always those stories of players who are undrafted that go on to become the Hall of Fame. My point is, it's not like we're talking about the superstars who are now jumping back in or trying to. But can it affect a 3rd down and 5? Absolutely. And it could really give you a kick in the butt if you need it at a certain position. There's no doubt that Kiffin had some plans in mind offensively for the tight end, right? Like that was a foregone conclusion. I look at it and just think like where it could really benefit a team is kicker, punter, and return game. Because those are fringe players anyway right now in the league. That's where if this were allowed, that's where it could really give you a jolt. And if you're the Big 12, do you allow it? Do you allow better players to come into your league? At this point, why not? I mean, your league's worth $20 million or whatever the title sponsor is.
I mean, Monster Energy deal backfired, as you said, with the patch deal. Like, you need to look for a way to have the upper hand. I don't think that the 10 to 15 players that are trying to do this would give them that huge. It would give Texas Tech the upper hand, right? It would give you a national championship contender if they all went to one place.
Yeah. Right.
So that could be, Texas Tech could now fill the void left by LSU of being that program and going and getting those guys. Here's another question I would have. Does the SEC have enough right now to go ahead and suspend Lane Kiffin anyways? If it's true that him and his staff tampered with NFL contracts and called these players and tried to, and they're the ones who solicited them to go file lawsuits to do that. I mean, if you're going to be a good partner with the NFL, which college football seemingly has been, and with each other, how angry is the NFL about this with Lane Kiffin? Think about if another NFL team did that, and try to get someone to file some lawsuit to get out of a contract with a team.
You would lose draft picks.
So, I mean, someone asked that in the chat, and I'm not completely against some sort of disciplinary action being taken against Lane Kiffin right now. Now, the disciplinary action could be a lawsuit from one of these NFL teams if they so chose for him tampering with contracts. With soliciting this lawsuit. This story's not over. Like, we haven't really heard from Kiffin on a lot of this yet. He's going to speak again. He's going to say something that sounds crazy. There could be other legal actions taking place too. This is going to be something that's going to be ongoing to continue to monitor.
What would have been crazy if someone claimed him on waivers when he was cut? Hutton Withrow just getting going. I have a theory about the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl's going away. Everyone's standing ovation for that. The flag football game, as we know it, is going away. I have a theory about where it's headed, though. I don't think it's gone for good, and I don't think they're doing away with this exhibition postseason deal. I think they're acting like the Pro Bowl's gone, and they're going to name it something else. That's straight ahead here on Hutton Withrow. It is Hutton and Withrow presented by Hard Rock Bet here at sportandstate.com and streaming live each morning on YouTube at Hutton and Withrow is the channel. We hope you'll go subscribe there. If you're already there, we hope you'll ring the bell. That way you're alerted, notified every time we go live each and every morning, weekday mornings, 8 to 10 a.m. Eastern.
Hutton, before we continue here, how about my Braves? I'm wearing the Braves hat today. 2 in a row.
How about your Braves all season?
I mean, it's been, well, and they had just recently gone through a slide. They got swept by the Twins.
Still,
they lost 2 out of 3 to the Brewers, and then they get the Dodgers. I'm thinking, just the Phillies are, they're winning 6 or 7 in a row. They're right on their tails, and I'm like, okay, here we go. The Phillies did everything at the trade deadline to get better. Braves did nothing. Here come the Phillies. Dodgers are in town, and the Braves just took the season series with the Dodgers yesterday, and they won the first 2 games of that series. Going for the sweep tonight. A couple of basically walk-offs. They had a defensive stand in the 9th inning last night. And they walk it off in the bottom of the 9th last night with Ha-Seong Kim, who was batting .066 on the season.
Whoa.
I mean, he has barely played. He has been a miserable hitter. Comes up with 2 outs in the 9th, runners on first and second, drills a base hit to left field. Braves win. We're back, baby. We're back.
Where we need Pete Van Weerd on the call.
Confidence is high. Confidence is high right now with me, Hutton, after 2 wins over the Dodgers. They get the Rockies in town this weekend. The Rockies are 30 games under 500. So what's inevitably going to happen is the Braves will sweep the Dodgers tonight and then get swept by the Rockies at home over the weekend since they're 30 games under 500.
Chad, I'm going to post something on Instagram sport your Atlanta shirt for me. The last picture I took, you wouldn't appreciate if I posted.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Perfect. Um, okay, so hear me out on this. You're not upset that the flag football game known as the Pro Bowl is going away, right? I'm
Hell
not.
no. No, I'm not upset at all.
First off, the NFL tanked this on purpose. We're at the Super Bowl this past year in San Francisco, and they're averaging normally between like 5 to 6 million viewers per Pro Bowl. I mean, it's outrageous how many people actually watch this game. They got around 2 million this year. And if you start thinking why, well, they moved it to a weekday night. No one really knew it was going on. And the night they did it, they had a media party that like an hour away from the actual game in San Fran, where Chad, like the media that would promote the event that the NFL's putting on, didn't even get promoted to go and cover that game with the NFL stars that were choosing to play, like Shedeur Sanders, who's a Pro Bowler. My point is they take
Was
it
it
on
NFL
purpose.
honors that was taking place
No,
during it?
they had the media party that was like
That was it.
an
The media
hour
party. You're right.
outside. They bust
Yep.
everyone outside of the city, and meanwhile the Pro Bowl quote unquote is going on, and you would think that they want the media there to for social media purposes, for what's trending. They're always talking about hashtag NFL and whatever. They take this on purpose behind the scenes. That's
We were
number
too
one.
busy trying to sidestep heroin needles outside of our
Yeah,
hotel
yeah.
to
Well
make
said.
sure to go see the flag football game.
Well
So
said.
unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to see it.
We learned what Fent bent was on this trip.
We did,
Oh,
and it was like Fent bent and Fent tents,
yeah,
which they fold up like tents. We learned a lot on that trip to San Francisco. Very
yeah,
educational.
man. So that's number one. Is I think they tanked it on purpose. Number two, they were really pushing, and they have been pushing flag football. It's an Olympic sport coming up. NFL players are allowed to play. This is how they're going to go international. It's through flag football. It's not going to be through full contact. They want men and women. They want boys and girls to be able to play. You do that through flag football. That's how you become the worldwide, like global sport instead of just USA. Not globally, no one knows really the rules of American football. They know soccer and basketball, baseball, but where's football on that list? It's not number one, number two, or number three globally in that list. I'm saying you put flag football in the mix, and now it's easy to understand. No one's really getting hurt. Again, boys and girls can play. It's something that you can form a global sport with. It's easy to understand. That's the Pro Bowl itself. They don't want to do away with that. They want to market that. And they're going to do this through Tom Brady and Saudi. I firmly believe this. Now, they didn't end up doing this past year. Brady didn't have his Fanatics Flag Football Classic in Saudi, in Riyadh, because Iran and Israel were at war and the United States had just bombed Iran. And there were a lot of things going on right there at Saudi. So the capital didn't want a flag football game there. I don't blame the NFL and Brady for not wanting to go. The NFL is absolutely involved in this, even though there's not the NFL shield behind it. Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, and Jaden Daniels were scheduled to play in this game, in this flag football game back in March. Sean Payton and Kyle Shanahan were the coaches. Drew Brees and Larry Fitzgerald were the commissioners of this game, as if you needed them. Saquon Barkley, Myles Garrett, Odell Beckham Jr., Gronk, Logan Paul. This is what the flag football aspect allows you to do. It allows you to bring in former players, superstars, musicians, whatever, and pair them with your current stars. You pay them much, much better than what they would get paid to go to the Pro Bowl because Saudi would pay them to come and do this. I think eventually this Tom Brady Classic thing is eventually going to be the quote unquote Pro Bowl. This is how you qualify for it. And while they may not call it the Pro Bowl, it's going to be the offseason exhibition around the Super Bowl, is my guess. It's not this year. I think they're going to let Brady's deal kind of get it going, roll it out a little bit. But I mean, look at the sponsors, look at those involved, and look at the NFL players already involved in this. They'll be treated red carpet. Talking about Project Runway, this will be it over there, and they'll be paid handsomely for it. Brady was getting what, 75 million?
I mean, is there an amount of money that's ever just enough money for the NFL? I guess would be my question. Like, is there not enough money in the United States? Roger Goodell's already said, he said this week, I think, that there will be a team internationally, that's going to happen at some point. There's going to be an
Well,
NFL team
they've started
overseas.
their pro women's flag football league or whatever. Chad, you remember the quarterback that was all bent out of shape about not being the quarterback for the Olympic team? This guy.
Yeah, the flag football guy.
He was on the third team of Brady's deal. Like that, their team was going to compete against Brady's team, which is cool. I didn't know this, but like this allows you to get creative with these teams. Logan Paul and WWE, and you get my point. It's going to happen, and that's why all these teams are. That's why San Francisco and is it Los Angeles? That's why they're playing in Australia. They own the rights to the flag football merch that is sold there in Australia. There's a reason why the Jaguars can't sell their merch here in Nashville, and the Titans can't go sell merch in Australia. The teams that have a foot in the ground, a foothold there, can do that. The Titans can go sell it in Ireland, which they have a direct flight now from Nashville to Ireland. My point is, it's going to be flag football, and the NFL is not doing away with the Pro Bowl as we've seen it. They're just calling it something different in the future.
And here's a hypothetical. Let's say that the scenario you're saying is true and going to happen. And the NFL is talking about this in a meeting. I'm an NFL employee, and I have a seat in that boardroom with everyone around. Roger Goodell, everyone
Yep.
else, and they're talking about initiatives for the league and what we're going to do and how we're going to, revenue streams and make money. And this whole idea about partnering with Saudi Arabia and their private investment fund and making money
Yep.
off the Saudi Arabian money and all this comes up with flag football and everything else. And I were just to raise the question in that room, and I'd say, guys, I hate to be the one to ask this question, but when is enough enough? When is there enough money for us? We are wildly successful. We are dominating the American market. We can do anything we want in the United States. We could use some of our money for good and continue to implement flag football programs for girls across the country in different high school markets and make sure that we are pumping that money into a system that feeds us because we are creating even more interest in the NFL, even more interest in our league, making more money for generations to come by doing that. Instead of doing this, we just got rid of something that no one liked. We don't need to then replace it with something else that no one's going to like just because it gets us in with a lot more money overseas.
Well,
I feel like if I even brought that up, Hutton, to the NFL, I might
yeah.
get fired on the spot for suggesting that, hey guys, maybe we already have enough
You'd
money.
be told to sell your team.
Right. I'm not a communist, okay? I'm for
Well,
the free market. I'm for making as much money as you can. But at some point, someone should ask the NFL or someone within the NFL should ask, guys, we are getting way ahead of ourselves here. Can we just slow it down a little bit when it comes to things like this? Our money and our interests and our time would be better off spent somewhere else. Something not with them, not over there, not doing flag football this way. Tom Brady can make all the money he wants as an ex-NFL player if he wants to go to Saudi
he's
Arabia.
also an owner.
If he wants to go do DJ sets at a Riyadh nightclub, he can go do that and get paid $5 million per
Sure.
head if he wants to. That's on him to do. I think Tom Brady looks a little bit ridiculous at times with all the stuff that he's doing. I think the stuff with Paul that he's doing makes him look
Well,
less
that's all
than what
set
he
up.
is.
Yeah, I'm with
It's
you on
all
that.
set
It's
up, but it
stupid.
makes him look like a clown that I
They're
don't
just
think Tom Brady is.
they're
And
trying
I
to.
don't get it. I'm like, are you in debt? Or are you just trying to be the NFL at
No,
some point?
I think they're partnering with the partners that are already there in Saudi. WWE and
And
UFC
that's
have been there.
and that's what I get it for WWE. I just don't understand it for the NFL. They're
Well,
so
because
big and bad. They don't have to do it.
they're trying to keep all this cash on hand. I think it was the Falcons. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I think the Falcons just sold 10% of their team. They gave up zero interest, controlling interest at all, like no votes, and they got $1 billion cash on hand just from that 10%. I mean, it's nuts. I saw where the Seahawks sell went up by another billion. It's like nine something now, 9 point something billion. Amy Adams Strunk in the Tennessee Titans. The value of their franchise went up 31% because of the dome. It's incredible, and I think a lot of these owners now are looking at it going, "Oh, these cities are building stadiums for us. We're now entertainment. We're not football. We're entertainment." And so, can we get this done in Dublin? Can we get this done in London? Can we get this done in Sydney? I I think they're looking at it that way because they're going to it's not like college football's going. College football's been playing, what in Ireland and other places for a couple seasons
It's
now.
really just Ireland. It's not much more
it?
than that with college.
But now it's just the NFL's trying to go everywhere, and they're trying to do this through Brady first, even though all these other sports have already done it.
It makes me think less of the NFL. I mean, I'll just give you my personal opinion. Like I think there comes a point where you got to say our brand is really good, our recognition is really good. We're making billions of dollars. Our owners are all billionaires many times over. They're going to continue making money. Let's cut off the valve at some point for a little bit and take a breath. The same way we talked about yesterday, Hutton, that they are very exclusive with their media rights and access with everything they do because they can be. Because that it doesn't affect their bottom line.
They control,
and it doesn't hurt them. They can do whatever the hell they want. I'm giving them license to say, guys, we make enough money right now. No need to partner with Saudi Arabia. Let's spend our effort and our energy somewhere else and not worry about the stupid Pro Bowl flag football game and what happened with that, and just not have it, and then go do something else.
And see, the NFL, this is where they're really smart. They're letting the players take the fall. They're already sending Hurts, Burrow, Daniels, Sean Payton, and Kyle Shanahan are going to coach. You get my point.
Yeah.
It's not the shield. It's the individuals that are going with Brady, who's an NFL. It's not happening this year. It's going to happen. Oh, and thank God they're doing away with the alternate pineapple logo next to your bio. You get bonus based on that. Chad, final thing. 1998. In 1998, there were 7 players who did not participate in the Pro Bowl. 7. 5 of them played in the Super Bowl. 20 years later, 2018, 35 players did not participate. 35. That's why the Pro Bowl sucks.
I'm glad the Pro Bowl's over. I don't think you should replace the bad Pro Bowl with something else that's bad just because it gets you in with the Saudi money. I don't think that's a good move for the NFL. I'm sure that they'll make a ton of money off of it and will continue to.
Players too.
Don't care. Like that, they have the right to do that. I have the right to not like them for doing that.
Week 0. We don't like the name, but do we like the game?
Well, I'm calling it week 0. To be fair, they're now calling it week 1.
Yeah,
but Hutton, I also refuse to call Labor Day weekend week 2.
I agree.
Because now they're calling next weekend. No, that's week 1.
This is week 0.
I think you just call this like kickoff weekend or something. You can call it week 0, whatever you want, but like next weekend is week 1.
Will we call this unnecessary? We'll discuss it next here on Hutton Withrow. It's Hutton Withrow. I'm going to talk week zero just a moment. First, it's not perfect 8 or perfect 9. It's perfect 10 mortgage. The name says it all. Apply in 10 minutes, close in 10 days. That's the whole idea. A mortgage that's simple, fast, and fair. 10 minutes, start to finish, right from your phone. There's no stack of paperwork, no sitting across a desk, Chad, from a banker who talks down to you.
That's right, Hutton. You can check your options. It's not going to ding your credit score. You find out where you actually stand before you commit to anything. Date the rate, marry the house. Throw that on a t-shirt. Get the house you want
Love it.
now. Refinance when rates come down. How many credit cards are you juggling right now? Every month you send in the minimum payment, and that balance barely moves because the interest is eating you alive. It doesn't have to stay that way. With Perfect 10 Mortgage, you may be able to use the equity you've already built in your home to pay off those high-interest credit cards and personal loans and roll everything into one simpler monthly payment, one due date, a whole lot less stress. Buying new construction, ask about the builder program. Builder funded rate buydowns that can get you a rate the bank can't even print. Date the rate, marry the house, get the house you want now. Refinance when rates come down. Straight talk on what you actually qualify for. Built for real people, not paperwork. Perfect10mortgage.com or call them 855-789-1010. That's perfect10mortgage.com. Perfect 10 Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Perfect 10 Mortgage is a DBA or network funding LP. NMLS number 2297, equal housing lender. All borrowers must qualify. This advertisement is not a promise to make a loan.
One of the best numbers out there, 855-789-1010. I love it. Love it. Plus,
It's
I
a
love
great
all
number.
Yeah,
It's a good number.
Chad, we're not fans of week zero. At least I'm not. I don't think you are. Week zero in college football we're talking about here. The slow rollout, it doesn't do it for me. I don't get excited for this weekend.
I don't either. Well, no, I should rephrase that. I'm a psycho when it comes to college football. So I do get excited that there are games on. In fact, my youngest has a game on Saturday, I think at 12:30, Hutton. I
Okay.
have been called up from the bench to be the third base coach
Of
in this
course.
game with our normal third base coach out. So I'm going to go ahead and warn the young Dodgers, you're going to be getting sent home a lot. I'm going to bring you into third. You better run fast and run hard, or you will be out because I'm going to be super aggressive on the bases this Saturday. But I'm going to be missing the first college football game of the year. And I'm actually thinking about that like, man, I can't
Wow.
sit and watch the entire game to start. I hate the verbiage week zero. And I know that college football's done away with that and they now call it week one. I think I hate the fact they call it week one even more than calling it week zero, because as we all know, the real start of college football, Hut, is next week with Thursday night
Totally
games,
agree.
Colorado and Georgia Tech, and other games that Thursday. And then there's a big
I
Friday
don't even
night
like the
game.
Thursday night games, Chad, leading up to week one.
Absolutely. Well, now, we're going to be calling high school football, but there is going to be a big Friday night game that first week. And then,
I
of
don't
course,
like it.
all the big games on Saturday.
Give me this. I want the first Saturday to be the first Saturday. I get it for the networks and all this stuff, but it's not like we're seeing marquee matchups on Thursday and Friday to start things. I don't need that for week one of college football. Do that as you progress. I don't need it to start off my college football season every year.
Labor Day Saturday, Hutton, to me, is
Let's
a
go.
sports holiday akin to the first Thursday of college basketball NCAA tournament.
I don't
Like
mind the
the
Sunday
two,
and Monday deal, trying to jumpstart and take
no,
advantage of not having NFL. I understand that too, but don't give me the. I don't need every day of the week from week zero on. I don't need 15 days, the most wonderful week of the year, whatever they call it on ESPN, and it's a 2 week rollout.
it's the most
Yeah,
wonderful.
most
So,
wonderful week of the year, and it's a month long.
two biggest sports days of the year for me, my favorite. Number one, Saturday of Labor Day weekend for college
Go
football
ahead, and then
coming up
March.
soon. Number two, Thursday, March Madness
Yes,
to
man,
start the
I'm
NCAA
with you.
tournament.
So,
I'm,
so
no
you
one's going to
you
argue this week is either one of those things, right?
you
With
you
the week
have
zero.
you have the games though that we should get ready for, and you're going to tell us the top games, right?
I'm going to tell you all the games, Hut.
Okay.
That's what we do on the Hutton and Withrow show. We're not just going to give you some of the games. I'm going to give you all 8 of the games.
8 games.
Starting
Okay.
next week, Hutton, I'll do my top 10 college football games of the week. We'll
Absolutely.
probably do that, Thursday? Each week, I'll roll them out for everyone.
Yep.
But today, I'm going to give you a comprehensive list of all 8 of these games. Very different in terms of meaning, in terms of what these games are. But Hutton, by God, we got college football this Saturday, and I, for
Right.
one, will rejoice
I'm
with
not.
that,
I'm not going to
and I'll be
complain too
watching.
much. I'll be watching too.
And Hutton, if you've got any questions about where these games are going to be located on your dial,
I'll need to
does
find
anybody
them.
use a dial anymore on television? I don't think so. Or what network they're going to be on, what time? I can let you know that as well.
Okay.
Let's start with the bottom, shall we? Number
Yes.
8. Sacramento State at Eastern Michigan. Okay, now that I've said that, let's go to number
Yep. Number
7.
7.
Jacksonville State at North Dakota State. A couple of former FCS big dogs. North Dakota State still one of them. Jacksonville State has gotten pretty good over the last few years. North Dakota State in Fargo in this game, a 7-point favorite in that one. And that game can be found at 4:30 p.m. on the CBS Sports Network
Did you
on
say
Saturday.
Eastern Washington or Eastern Kentucky on the first game?
Eastern Michigan.
Eastern
Neither
Michigan.
one.
Okay. I just looked Jacksonville State. I thought they may be playing like an SEC
Yeah.
school next week. They're not. They're playing Eastern Kentucky. I was going to go ahead and take Jacksonville State because they're going to have 10 days.
And that game will be on ESPN Plus.
Okay.
That Eastern Michigan game, and someone on ESPN Plus will open that broadcast and say, "You are looking live at Ypsilanti, Michigan for
That
week
sounds
0."
like a Beth Mowins game to me.
Beth Mowins is too good for that game. All due respect
Wow.
to that game. Beth Mowins is big game. Beth is not going to be in Ypsilanti. I'll tell you that much.
Will she be at game 6?
Game number 6, probably not, because the game's on NBC. Beth
Okay.
Mowins might be with NBC now because ESPN keeps giving her the shaft.
Yeah.
San Jose State taking on USC. The Trojans ranked 14th preseason. USC is a 38.5-point favorite in that game, Hutton. That game can be seen at 2 o'clock on NBC.
Right.
So that's the rollout of the Big Ten on NBC package for this week. We're going to call it week 0 because it's definitely not week 1, even though we don't like week 0.
What,
for this week 0
what a
matchup.
4-pack to start for USC, Chad. They have San Jose State, Fresno State, the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana. I'm always going to call them Lafayette. And they're at Rutgers. Those are their first 4 games. But then they play Oregon, Washington, Penn State, and Wisconsin, and then Ohio State, all back to back to back to back.
Can we speak briefly on the audacity of Louisiana Lafayette to remove the Lafayette and try to convince everyone they're Louisiana?
Absolutely, we can.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, they are Louisiana Lafayette.
I mean, that's just someone saying, hey, it's LSU, it's Louisiana State. There is no Louisiana. And was it a race between them and Monroe to decide who was going to be
what about
Louisiana?
Monroe? I know. Yeah. What happened?
It could be them, too.
Terry Bradshaw didn't show up and tell them that Monroe exists.
Hutton, another topic for another day. Louisiana Tech is where Terry Bradshaw went. Louisiana Tech could have dropped the Tech.
Louisiana Tech
and University of Louisiana. That could have been another one. I mean, there's so many options. The audacity for Lafayette to feel like they are the University of Louisiana, just really crazy to me. Number 5, Hutton, on our list, New Mexico State at Florida State this week. Florida State trying to bounce back from a terrible season after a great start a year ago. Remember, they beat Alabama in that week 1, and it fell apart with Thomas Castellanos. Thomas Castellanos, that we found out yesterday, is going to be the next Texas Tech starting quarterback after he got granted his 5th year of eligibility to come back. So he'll take over for Brendan Sorsby. The Noles, a 30.5-point favorite. Hutton, that game, it's a CW special, baby. Move over, Arrow. Move over, Dawson's Creek.
Wow.
It's New Mexico State and Florida State to open the season. Game number 4. Now we're going to get into some actual games here.
Here we go.
Number 4, Hawaii at Stanford. Andrew Luck, Stanford Cardinal, only a 4-point favorite in this game. This game is at 6 o'clock on the ACC network. So a test here for Stanford. Stanford trying to rebuild how they do everything. They know they're at a disadvantage being Stanford in the ACC and trying to convince kids to go play an ACC schedule.
Yeah.
Andrew Luck has tried to rebuild the infrastructure of that program. They've gotten some huge donations from some very wealthy alums here recently. So we'll kind of see if this experiment is going to work out as they
waited
to roll
a long
along.
time to jump in the pool, though.
They waited a long time, and we've seen it's a program that can win.
Absolutely.
And win at a high level. I mean, when done right, we know what Stanford can be.
Solid quarterbacks too. Yeah, I'm with you.
And it is a solid place to go to school. Like if you're actually looking at your education, like there are worse places to live than Palo Alto, California, and to go to Stanford.
The downside is they're in California, but yes.
You know, also a place that's not bad to live, Hawaii, who they'll be opening up with. Also not a bad quality of life there.
Doesn't suck there.
Game number 3, Hutton. Now we're really getting the meat of it. NC State at Virginia. NC State, a 4-point underdog against Virginia in this game. This is a 2:30 ESPN game.
I don't know
really
how.
want to watch this.
Have you seen the injury report?
Can we flash that up there,
There are
please?
like
Because you
30
sent this
players.
last night. I couldn't believe it when we saw what this was.
Virginia's out they're out 15 to 20 players in this game. And then, NC State they didn't listen who's questionable. Virginia did. And they still have 20 players listed as just out. And several of them are starters.
Yeah, do we have that to show, guys? Okay, no graphic. So, Hutton, I can give you a list of some of the guys out. I mean, it is. We'll have the visuals better. We'll have to show it later because I'm like, how is Virginia fielding a team if this is legit with all the guys they have out?
Let me count it just real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm right at 20 players, Chad, are out for Virginia. 2 are questionable.
105 players now on the college football roster, so we should state that. So they will have enough to play still, but that's a lot of injuries going into the season. I think
at least one legit wide receiver. Their top player, linebacker, Cam Robinson, is questionable. I mean, what are they doing during camp?
It's crazy. Crazy to see that.
It's like San Francisco.
Yeah. Game number 2, Hutton. North Carolina, TCU, Dublin, Ireland. This is the kickoff. There will be a college game day that leads into this. 11 a.m. kickoff on ESPN and Disney+. TCU a 9.5-point favorite in this game. This to me is the referendum season on Bill Belichick.
Yes.
Right? His GM, Michael Lombardi, nobody likes him. There's issues going on there. I don't even know what all has happened.
Is he in a relationship? I haven't heard from this in a while.
It's a very I don't know what's happened. Yeah, I don't know if he's I don't know. But it's not good with Michael Lombardi at North Carolina, who I don't think's there anymore.
No, he's gone.
Bill Belichick, very rough first year. How long is he going to continue doing this? If it goes south quickly this year, I think the Bill Belichick experiment's going to end very quickly in North Carolina. And it could be mutual, by the way.
They're playing where, Chad?
They're playing in Aviva Stadium in Dublin, Ireland.
I realize that it can only go one of two ways. I'm going to say that Bill Belichick, with his team behind the scenes, is very relaxed in Ireland. That's my prediction, because I think he's going to be with his girl the entire time.
So you're saying they're going to be hitting up the pub for some pints of Guinness?
I just think there's going to be a curfew enforced, but I don't think he's going to be a curmudgeon, is what I'm saying. I don't think it would be fun to travel with Bill Belichick. I think it would be fun to travel with this Bill Belichick.
Remember a year ago when it was Kansas State and I think Iowa State in the opener in Dublin, and Iowa State won the game, and Avery Johnson, the great shout out Kelly in Vegas. Avery Johnson's dad fought Avery Johnson's brother, and everyone filmed it outside the stadium. That's kind of the way I pictured North Carolina's football team behaving the whole time. There's gonna be a lot of fights in the streets of Dublin, Ireland.
Michael Lombardi's just outside the stadium fighting people.
Yeah, he's just knocking on the stadium trying to get somebody to let him in so he can do something. I demand to have my job back. Meanwhile, Bill Belichick's in a hotel suite with his girlfriend the whole time, and his team's just running wild in the streets of Dublin, Ireland. Either way, there's plenty of reasons to tune in. North Carolina, TCU, 11 a.m. Game number 1, Hutton. Our guy, friend of the show, joined us many times, Dan Mullen and UNLV.
Yes. Okay.
Taking on another guy that we now consider a friend of the show, and Coach Huff at Memphis in his first game there. UNLV and Memphis in Vegas, a Hutton special. You ready for this, Hutton?
Let's go.
9 o'clock Central Time, 10 o'clock Eastern on Fox. 4.5-point favorite for UNLV. This game is going to go a long way in deciding who's in the playoff.
Is this Tim Brando on the call?
That's a good question. We need to hit up Timmy B.
I bet this is Timmy B. Let me text him.
Yeah, let's text Timmy B and find out what game he's on this week. I bet you're right. Bottom line, again, this is a game that could very well decide who's going to be in the playoff from the group of 5. I mean, you look at it, UNLV and Memphis both have a lot of returning players. UNLV did very well in the transfer portal. They've got Jackson Arnold and I think Alex Orji, 2 former big-time prospects and quarterbacks that are going to battle it out. Both are going to play in this game. So I really like this one. So everybody's going to be talking UNC TCU, and rightfully so, with the whole storyline with Bill Belichick. But I think we got a bookend of games, morning and night, Hutton, that make it pretty interesting on Saturday. North Carolina TCU to start Memphis at UNLV to finish it off. I don't know how much sports fans care. I don't know how much college football fan cares. They're adding more and more games to week 0, as we're going to call it, every season. I don't mind it. More games better. This at least whets the appetite a little bit. But Hutton, we all know next week, Labor Day weekend is the week.
The positive is I'm going to watch teams I otherwise would not really watch during the season. Right? Like that's what I'm going to see here. Chad, well done. I do agree with your ranking, although
and here's the other positive too, Hutton.
From 5 to 8.
Here's the other positive. We will be betting on these games.
Yes.
These are football games to bet on that actually matter for the season. So we will have some of those choices for you coming up tomorrow.
With Hard Rock Bet, we absolutely will. Straight ahead, the depth chart.
Yes.
And we discuss the next great American movie star. Who is it going to be after Tom Cruise? It's a great discussion. Chad's got it for us next here on Hutton Withrow. It is 9:01 Eastern. Glad you're with us for Hutton and Withrow here at Sport and State, out of the gates each and every morning from 8 to 10 Eastern. And you can join us on Facebook now as well. Just search Hutton Withrow on Facebook. We are streaming live there, added as of yesterday, I believe, Chad. That's great.
Yeah,
We're trying to
exciting.
be everywhere. We're also
Podcast
officially on podcast.
Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast. With our partnership with iHeart Podcast, you can get us there. I noticed the show's going up sometime mid-afternoon, so perfect time if you're driving home from work.
Yep.
If you're in your car, you're in your truck, you're driving around, you can listen to us also. We want to be accessible to you wherever you go to get your media, and that's what we're doing right now. So big thanks to our team for making all those things possible.
Accidents don't wait for good timing. One bad moment, a wreck, a fall, a doctor who wasn't paying attention, and suddenly you're fighting an insurance company that does this every single day. And that's why Clay started Clay Travis Law. He's a Vanderbilt law grad, and he built a firm around one idea. People deserve someone willing to pay attention, ask the hard questions, and push back when things don't add up. Experienced trial attorneys who bring the fight to corporations and insurers. They're based in Nashville, trusted across the country, Chad.
Car and truck wrecks, rideshare accidents, medical malpractice, premises liability, product liability. If you were wrong, they want to hear about it. And here's what they promise. Very simple. Honesty. They don't sugarcoat your case. You'll hear what it's actually worth, not what you want to hear, which that's what we want. We want honesty. We want someone to be upfront. The case evaluation is free, no charge, no pressure, no hassle. Just tell them your story. Go to claytravislaw.com or call them at 877-222-4444. Great number. 877-222-4444. That's claytravislaw.com. No case is too big or too small.
Chad, this was no small feat that you wrote at sportandstate.com. Right now, you can go check it out. We're making this a depth chart here on Hutton Withrow, but you took on the task of trying to find out and ask the question, who's the next great American movie star after Tom Cruise? You laid out some good names. I mean, we're talking Matt Damon, Leonardo DiCaprio, Denzel Washington. There is a specific corner of the room that Tom Cruise owns. And in thinking about this, I think you're bringing some great options to the table. And I've got one in mind that I'm going to choose at the end of this.
And people were shocked to learn that I could read and write when they saw that I wrote this piece at Sport and State. You can read it right now. It's up with the column. And you know that we've both done writing before, and there are times when you sit down at your computer and it's hard to get the idea going.
Or you just go.
Or to get through it. And there are other times when the words just flow out of you, like the Mississippi River. That's the way I felt as I started to write about Tom Cruise and my love of all things Tom Cruise. I love this guy. I'll watch anything he does. I know he's a complete wacko. I don't care. He's jumped on couches with Oprah. He's called Matt Lauer glib. He's got the whole Scientology thing, which is weird as all get out. But I can continue. I cannot quit Tom Cruise and what he does and what he means to movies. I loved it during COVID when he was yelling at everyone on set and being very serious about what they were doing and how they needed to be serious about bringing movies back to people. I love what he did with Top Gun Maverick, making movies popular again, of people gathering and going to the movies. The dude loves what he does. He's got more energy than any human that I've ever seen in my life. He's more committed to everything that he does than anyone that I've seen. I respect the guy. I love his movies. I love his on-screen charisma. But Hutton, to be a movie star, right? Like let's differentiate here because getting a lot of good feedback from this column, and there are people giving out names of people that are very good actors, like Dominic Sessa as a good young actor. I love The Holdovers. I love him in that. He's going to be very good for many years. But being a movie star is different than being a great character actor.
Yes.
Or just being a really good actor, right? A movie star can do anything.
I'm thinking action. I'm thinking action, specifically that with Tom Cruise, though. I don't know if you do.
Yes, I think action has to be 75% of this.
At least.
Right? Like if we're looking at a ratio, like it's got to be you can carry an apocalyptic thriller, you can carry a zombie movie, you can carry, any type of thing that you're doing from an action standpoint, Mission Impossible franchise. Who could be the next Ethan Hunt, right? Like all the guys I'm laying out on this could theoretically be the next Ethan Hunt. in a Mission Impossible franchise, right? That's part of the criteria that I'm looking at for this. But I mean, it's not just that. You got to be able to do everything. Like Tom Cruise is very funny
Jerry
at times.
Maguire.
He was Les Grossman in Tropic Thunder.
Yep.
You can be in a rom-com like Jerry Maguire, right? Like Will Smith's a great example. Will Smith is a movie star that slapped Chris Rock in the face and may have ended his career in doing that in front of 17 million people. I write about that in the piece.
Right.
But before that, Will Smith could do I Am Legend, and he could do Independence Day, and he could do Hitch and be in a rom-com and be very
Chad,
likable also.
there's a difference though between like Bradley Cooper and Tom Cruise to me.
Bradley Cooper not under consideration on this list.
I know. But I'm just trying to give an example of like there's a big screen actor, but not in the same realm as far as like the action and just the action star, like the blockbuster Mission Impossible, Top Gun. I don't see Bradley Cooper doing that, for instance.
Yeah, I mean, he did American Sniper. He was good. Limitless had, I guess, some action in it and some of it. I mean, I love Bradley Cooper. He's very good. Also, Bradley Cooper's too old. He's not old, but he's too old for this exercise.
The next version. I'm just saying, like there's a category of Tom Cruise that not many people can be listed in.
I know exactly what you're saying. That's why I'm trying. Like, there's a very specific type that we're talking about. Like, we're getting, Krasinski, John Krasinski, some Catfish Jake saying, great actor, too old for this. He's into his upper 40s, I think, at least at this point. And Jim from The Office is not a Tom Cruise type. He's great in his action roles that he does, but to me, he's not the leading man that can carry a movie, not just year after year, but decade after decade. I mean, going back to the 80s, Tom Cruise has fronted some of the most memorable and biggest movies of our lifetime. So it's hard to find that next person. I've got 5 candidates here, Hutton, and I tried to specify everybody is under 40 on this list. They're all some are right around 40 on this list that we have, but my top 5 that I think filled the shoes of Tom Cruise moving forward. Number 1 is Glenn Powell. Glenn Powell has the blessing, the papal blessing of Tom Cruise himself. Glenn Powell told a famous story with Top Gun Maverick where he didn't want to take the part that he was offered in that. He wanted to be Rooster. He wanted to be the surrogate son of Tom Cruise in it. That role went to another guy on our list, Miles Teller, who I'll get to a little bit later. But Tom Cruise said, what you need to do is take this role and make it as memorable as possible, because people are going to remember this part and what you do with it. It's not always about being the leading man, but taking the spot that you can make memorable. He talked him into it, and Glenn Powell's kind of been on a rocket ship ever since.
Yes, he has.
So Glenn Powell is one to watch that I think has that blessing of Tom Cruise. Number 2 on the list, Hutton, and I think you could argue for number 1, is Michael B. Jordan. I've loved Michael B. Jordan and everything I've seen him in, from Friday Night Lights as Vince Howard to when you and I went back and we watched The Wire for the first time during COVID. He was the young kid on that as well, Wallace, on that show as a young actor. He was great in Creed. They're making a Creed 4 right now. He's remaking the Thomas Crown Affair that he's directing and starring in. We all know about Sinners and the success of that movie. He wins an Oscar playing twin brothers in that movie. This dude's got it. I mean, he's got it. He's the type of guy who could resuscitate Will Smith's career, because he's doing I Am Legend 2 with Will Smith. That's the type of clout that Michael B. Jordan has right now in the movie industry. Great action star, good actor. I think he's got what it takes. I really think it's 1A, 1B between Glenn Powell and Michael B. Jordan in terms of who could take the top spot. Number 3 for me is Timothée Chalamet. Timothée Chalamet has already been nominated for 3 Oscars in his young career. He's terrific. My issue with Timothée Chalamet is I'm looking at his IMDb page to try to project what's next. The dude's not doing anything right now that I can see. Dune 3 comes out this year. That's the completion of that action trilogy that he was a part of. Timothée Chalamet is talking about being challenged. Basically, Tom Cruise said DBAP to him that he needs to get stronger, tougher. He needs to look better physically, and he needs to do his own stunts the way Tom Cruise does. And he took that as a challenge, because Chalamet, in every Oscar speech or anything he does, he says, I want to be the greatest actor to ever live. And he says, I know how crazy that sounds and how I sound arrogant in saying that, but that is the path I am on. That is my goal in my career, and I'm going to listen to everyone and do whatever it takes to become that. I believe the dude when he says it. He's a very believable guy. I didn't like Marty Supreme, but I thought he was really good in that role. I loved him in Wonka. My kids love Wonka. I think they're going to do a Wonka 2 also. But outside of that, there's just not a lot on the horizon for Timothy Chalamet, for little Timmy Chalamet. He's
Matthew
number 3 on the
McConaughey may
list, though.
fight him over that.
What now?
Matthew McConaughey may fight him over that. The fighting words of being the greatest actor of all time.
Matthew McConaughey, who played Chalamet's dad in Inception. Chalamet had a very small part.
Oh,
But
wow.
at one point,
yeah.
he was the son of Matthew McConaughey, so they share a history there. Number 4 on the list. This guy is a complete fruitcake, Austin Butler, but he's good. He's very good. It's like Daniel Day-Lewis.
Is this the guy that sounds like Elvis now?
Yes. Austin Butler played Elvis. Hutton, he took 3 years to prepare for the role.
I can't imagine.
He did
this,
not
man.
talk to his family for 3 years. He went the Aaron Rodgers route
He
of
didn't speak to his
excommunicating
family?
his own family.
Even as Elvis? Like
he did
wouldn't-
not speak to them. He was trying to get the part down. He didn't speak to them at all. He would not talk to his family for 3
Wow.
years.
That's
That's commitment.
That's insane.
That is both commitment and something that should get you committed
Yeah, that's
for Austin Butler. But the guy's very good. The movie The Bike Riders I watched. It's not a lot of people saw it, but I thought he was good in that. He lost the Elvis accent in that movie at least. So
Okay.
he's done some things where he has gotten away from the Elvis accent at least. But he was doing shows, talk shows promoting the Elvis movie, and he could not lose the accent. That low, gravelly type voice and kind of a stutter with Elvis. He couldn't lose that even on talk shows afterwards. So very good actor. I think he's got a bright future. He's doing Miami Vice 85 with Michael B. Jordan, where he's playing Crockett and Michael B. Jordan is playing Tubbs. The director of that movie, Hutton, is the guy who directed Top Gun Maverick and F1, Joseph Kosinski. I mean,
so there's a tie-in.
Strap me to the chair in the movie theater. I'm going to that one when it happens. So he's got a really good list of movies and projects he's working on right now. And he could be an action star. He can bulk up a little bit. He's a thin guy, but he can bulk up and be an action star. He's the bad guy in Dune 2.
Yes.
And he's completely unrecognizable in the makeup and everything that he does, but he's in that movie also. Really like Austin Butler and his future. He's number 4 on the list. Number 5 on the list to me, Hutton, is Miles Teller. Miles Teller is, if we're comparing all these guys to NFL quarterbacks, he is the Kyler Murray of this list in that he's a really good player. He's got a ton of talent. You can't teach the talent that he has. But also, he is the type of dude that I feel like you'd have to put an addendum in his contract to stop him from playing video games too much, like Kyler Murray. I'm not sure about the commitment of Miles Teller to being the next big movie star. He doesn't do quite as much. He makes some odd decisions. He plays the manager in the Michael Jackson biopic. Good movie, very entertaining. I enjoyed it. I just wasn't expecting to see Miles Teller in that part in the movie. But I really like him. He's been charismatic and everything. First time I saw him was Project X when he's one of the high school students in that movie. Very funny high school party movie. Miles Teller, I really like. Seems like he's got a good life, though. I'm not sure that he's completely committed to being the next big movie star the way a Glenn Powell, Michael B. Jordan, Chalamet, Austin Butler is. But he's number 5 on my list, Hutton. You've seen the list now, Hutton. Who are you taking? Who's your top choice?
This may surprise you, but I'm going with Miles Teller, and here's why.
Wow. Okay.
Because Tom Cruise is like 5'7". His last name's Maypother. Like he's not average, but he's also not a sex symbol. I polled some people in the building last night here at my place.
Okay.
And I was asking, like, okay, where is Tom Cruise on the scale of like DiCaprio and basically the girls said Glenn Powell and Michael B. Jordan are too hot to be Tom Cruise.
Okay.
Does that make sense? I don't know. Like
they're
too attractive to be Tom. Like they're above Tom Cruise on the.
These had to be younger people weighing in on this.
Yes,
because I think generationally, like Tom Cruise is still seen as like the young heartthrob to a lot of people who's aged very well, also.
But also, like not who would be on this list that's always for the older generation. It's not. I don't hear Tom Cruise's name come up like sexiest man on earth kind of thing as much as like maybe we used to. But like Miles Teller is so unassuming. He's already done the G-Force fighter jet do it all stunts anyway. And he did play the role that Glenn Powell wanted. Glenn Powell, I would want an actor who's very specific in the genre that he's going to play. Yes, he can branch off and do Jerry Maguire. He can do other things, but we crave the action movie that's going to get us back to the theater. I think Glenn Powell's Netflix. I think Glenn Powell is streaming. That's not bad because I mean, again, he's very, very popular. But I think Miles Teller is more likely to get me to the theater.
I think Glenn Powell, having done Chad Powers, I haven't even watched it because I feel like I'm not going to like it and it's going to make me like him less. And I like him a lot already.
Yeah.
So I think that's a ding against Glenn Powell. Miles Teller, he did a really bad Apple action movie called The Gorge that I watched until its completion. I don't know why, but it wasn't very good.
Thanks to you. I won't be watching it based on the recommendation. I appreciate you.
There's a trailer out right now for a movie called Paper Tiger. It's getting a ton of buzz for Oscars, and it's Miles Teller and Adam Driver, and they play a pair of like New York brothers, and Adam Driver's like the chief of police or a cop, and Miles Teller, I think it's his civilian brother with a family, and I don't quite know what it's like, what the movie's about completely from the trailer, but he looks awesome in it. Like he's almost unrecognizable. Miles Teller and the accent that he puts on is great. He's a really good actor. I might like Miles Teller in movies and seeing him in things better than the other four guys.
Like Whiplash.
Great in Whiplash. There's a Paramount Plus miniseries called The Offer. That's the true story of how The Godfather got made. And Miles Teller is the movie producer that pushed it through Paramount Pictures. And he's really good in that too. And very believable. So I really like Miles Teller. I don't know that he's got like Tom. I don't think Miles Teller's crazy at all. I think he's a completely normal dude.
Someone threw out a great idea last night. Shia LaBeouf, if you want crazy.
Too old.
If you want someone that's just going to jump out of an airplane.
Shia LaBeouf may not quite be 40 yet, but
nuts.
Yeah, I think Shia LaBeouf has lost the studios. Is the problem. Like he's not getting hired for anything. He's almost untouchable to do it. He's a great actor too. I'm with you on that. Yeah, Miles Teller, look, he's just a normal dude from Pennsylvania that's a big Philadelphia Eagles and Phillies fan. Like he just seems he lives such a normal life for guys like that when I think of Cruz, I think of Slightly Unhinged, and everyone else on that list is slightly unhinged. Glenn Powell is probably the most normal.
You're right. He's 40 years old.
Yeah, Glenn Powell's probably the most normal of those dudes that's on the list. I mean, the more I think about it, I put Glenn Powell first. I think I lean Michael B. Jordan. Okay. Now, Tom Cruise knows every in and out of the movie industry. He's never directed. He's not interested in directing. He wants to be a movie star. He's the lead of movies. Michael B. Jordan wants to direct. He's already directed Creed 3. He's directing Thomas Crown Affair. So there's some things there that I'm like, okay, maybe he's not Cruise because maybe he goes into the director's chair more the way a Mel Gibson did after being a big action star, right? So I don't know what the future is, but these are 5 good candidates that could take the reins.
Miles Teller, by the way, is 39.
He's younger than I thought when I looked at the list. Yeah. Again, I think everybody on this list, I mean, I know everybody on this list is under 40.
Yeah, they are. Glenn Powell's 37. I thought he was younger.
Well, and think about, like, if you're saying, okay, who's the next Tom Cruise if Tom Cruise retired today? Well, it's probably Matt Damon, right, who just did The Odyssey, which is a gigantic movie. But he's in his 50s.
Right, yeah.
He's like 54 years old right now, I think. So he's not that far off from being Tom Cruise's age. I had to go with someone under 40 for that very reason. Leonardo DiCaprio's 51, Denzel Washington's 71, Brad Pitt. To me, those are the 4 that you put up there in that class with Tom Cruise that are legitimate movie stars. If they do something, you're probably going to go see it. Even if it's on a streamer, you're going to watch it because it's them. But it's tough to find. And again, Americans. I had a lot of people saying Tom Holland.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Callum Turner. And I'm like, great actors, not American. None of these guys. So it's tough to find that next great American movie star, but we got 5 of them for you. You can read the column too at sportandstate.com.
Chad, let's put the graphic up one more time. Run through your 5 candidates for the next great American movie star.
Glenn Powell has already been basically Tom Cruise's understudy. He's gotten a life lesson from Cruise already in Top Gun Maverick. Number 1. Michael B. Jordan, number 2. The dude has already done a lot. He resuscitated the Rocky franchise. He's going to resuscitate the I Am Legend IP. He's a director. He's a great actor. He's won an Oscar in this past Oscar ceremony. Michael B. Jordan's terrific. He's number 2. Timothy Chalamet, been nominated for Best Actor 3 times already in his young career. He's the youngest of the 5 on this list. He's also the most effeminate of the 5 on this list. Let's be honest about it. I have a hard time seeing him being rocked up and believable as an action star, but he has done some action stuff and some stunts in Dune. Pretty believable with that. Number 4 is Austin Butler. He does have the capability of being an action star, really good actor, also a little bit crazy, just like Tom Cruise. Number 5, Miles Teller, the most normal of the dudes on this list. Very good on screen, very charismatic. You want to watch him, very funny, and he is number 5 on the list, but he's number 1 on Jonathan Hutton's list for the next Tom Cruise.
Just very unassuming. That's how I would describe Tom Cruise, Thomas Maypother. At 5'7", I wouldn't think about him as an action star.
But that's what's amazing about Tom Cruise. He makes us believe. Like I've wrote in there, he's a 5'7" former high school wrestler that makes you believe he's Ethan Hunt, and that all these stunts, because he's doing the actual stunts,
yes.
He makes you believe. He played Jack Reacher, a character who's like 6'8" in the books, and he's 5'7", but yet he was believable as Jack Reacher. The dude's incredible.
Well, he's acting next to Miles Teller, who's 6'1", and Cruise comes across as 6'1".
And he's probably standing on a telephone book.
Probably.
As he acts next to him, yeah.
But somehow that dude made it to that level.
Yep.
You know? And say, hey, great depth chart this week. It makes you think because, again, the category is very specific, which is what I like, coming up with like the younger version. But it's not like the list is very long. We don't want Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson for this.
No.
You know?
And all due respect to The Rock, Rocky Johnson,
yeah.
he's not going to, he wouldn't make this list either way. Hutton, next week, we're going to have a really good NFL-centered depth chart for everyone.
Yes.
So we're going to go back and forth, whatever we're feeling, with sport and then non-sport depth charts week to week. And next week, we got a great NFL one. So stay tuned to it. We'll post this graphic also. I'm sure people are going to scream at us the same way they did about Andrew Jackson. How dare you put that vile racist, the author of the Trail of Tears, on your list? I mean, it's amazing the amount of people who are yelling at us, angry online about a Mount Rushmore that we posted online. And I love it. Keep it coming. Keep the vitriol coming. Keep the love coming. People keep fighting in the comments. It's awesome to see. I love it.
Would those people turn down currency with that man's face on it? I wonder. I doubt it. I'd
also say there are probably a lot of people who are screaming and complaining about all of that probably own a house and land right now, thanks to some of the activity of Andrew Jackson at the time. So maybe you should be telling him you're welcome.
I want to discuss Vince Young's, is it a documentary? I guess it is a documentary on Netflix. I watched it last night based on Chad's recommendation. And Chad and I lived it, covering the Titans. And I wrote down some observations as I'm watching it last night. I got that coming up. Plus NFL rivalry uniforms, as if we needed these. All of that is straight ahead here on Hutton Withrow. Withrow, whenever I think of a coonskin cap, I think of Davy Crockett. And whenever I think of Davy Crockett on the back of an alligator, I think of Crockett Coffee. Started by Clay Travis, Buck Sexton, and Buck's brother Mason, named after Davy Crockett, hunter, storyteller, patriot, backwoods legend, and the logo, surfing on the backs of crocodiles. That tells you everything about the attitude here. 100% pure Arabica, high altitude beans, small batch roasted right here in America in Tennessee, the heart of the country. It ships fresh roasted, not sitting on a warehouse shelf for 6 months. Light, medium, dark, decaf, organic, even a mushroom blend. Whole bean, ground, or K cups, however you make it in the morning.
However you want it, Hutton. Free market. That's what we believe in here at Sport and State. That's what they believe in at Crockett Coffee. You can set up a subscription. It shows up on your schedule. Change it or cancel it anytime you want, as the free market intended. Free shipping on orders of $59 or more, and there's a discount for veterans. And Crockett partners with Tunnels to Towers, building mortgage-free homes for the families of fallen service members and for catastrophically injured veterans and first responders. Good coffee, made in America, doing some good. CrockettCoffee.com. That's Crockett, Crockett, coffee.com, CrockettCoffee.com. Davy Crockett, people were mad we took him off our initial
I
Mount
saw.
Rushmore. They'd say that was the one people complained about the most, that Davy freaking Crockett was not included on it. So Crockett getting some love.
But I see. I think we go U.S. president over was he senator or House of Representatives? I can't remember.
Let me also defend Andrew Jackson here just for a
Oh,
second. Not
yes.
that he doesn't need the defense. I read the book American Lion about Andrew Jackson. Fascinated with him. I live where I'm sitting right now in my home studio is probably 3.5 miles from the Hermitage, his home.
Okay.
Okay. Andrew Jackson, like a lot of men of his era, were absolute vile racists based on today's standards
Yes.
of what we would consider being a vile racist. Okay. When you set a standard of today's sensibility at any time in history, you're going to look back and say, boy, oh boy, were they wrong and am I right? Okay. There are different lessons to be learned from different eras of how to behave and what to do. I'm not defending a lot of Andrew Jackson's views or some of his actions, but it doesn't change the fact that he is the most recognizable president from the state of Tennessee. Doesn't change the fact that he was absolutely a man of the common people of America at the time. He hosted a bacchanal at his inauguration inside of the
Chad,
White House that
didn't
tore
he
down
die
the White
with three
House.
bullets inside of him? He had
Yes,
three.
because people got so drunk at his inauguration because he let the people in. He would constantly host civilians of all kinds, not just the elite, to come in and meet with him and talk to them about their concerns. So for everyone out there bitching about the elite class in America right now that runs things and billionaires, Andrew Jackson was the opposite of that as a president. When you look at what he did, he was the hero of the Battle of New Orleans in the War of 1812, which was our second Revolutionary War against England. That was our second chance to win our freedom, which we did. It was basically Revolutionary War Part Two. That dude won that war in large part for the United States of America. And yeah, was he as many people have put, a vile son of a bitch? Absolutely, he was. He also accomplished a lot and was a very well-known president. So I make zero apologies for putting Andrew Jackson on the Mount Rushmore of Tennessee. And if you don't like it, I don't care. That's my response to anyone who has a problem with Andrew Jackson on the list.
Well, also, let's
Thank you
just
for
throw this
allowing me
out.
the floor.
What'd you say?
Thank you for allowing me the floor on that, Hutton. I
Oh,
appreciate
absolutely.
it. Yeah.
I know. I agree with you. Also, he eliminated the national debt. How about that? Go figure.
Boy, that's something that we're never going to see in the
I know.
next. We could have 4 lifetimes. That's not going to happen for us now.
Also, Chad has a ancestor who was third in command at the Battle of New Orleans of the War of 1812. We will eventually tell that story in detail, which is a phenomenal story that we love reminiscing over.
I should have put a disclaimer out that my relatives have fought alongside Andrew Jackson also before I gave my defense of
Chad
Andrew
has
Jackson.
a
But
relative whose prayer is engraved in the rotunda at the Hermitage, I believe.
that's correct.
It's phenomenal. Chad, there's no speech from Vince Young that will be engraved over at their practice facility or at a Nissan Stadium here in Nashville. So I watched the Vince Young documentary. I know you've seen it as well. You touched on it yesterday. First, let me just say the 2006 Rose Bowl, my favorite game. when I think of greatest games, I believe we're at SEC Media Days when this topic came up. That's the game that immediately pops in my mind. I remember exactly where I was. I'm in college. This is the era of Matt Leinart dating whoever he's dating at the time, and
Paris Hilton.
The Hills. We're watching the Hills or Laguna Beach or whatever was on. I don't know which show it was. Reggie Bush is about to get with a Kardashian. And then you have Vince Young out of nowhere win the national championship for the University of Texas. I say out of nowhere because it was USC that was dominating college football. I'll never forget. So let me say, college Vince Young, way different. Now that's where it starts. Let me go where it ends, is where we have Mac Brown still coddling Vince Young at the end of this documentary, where he's like, can we not remember the wins instead of the losses? I mean, he has to say that at the very, that again.
That's a pretty good Mac Brown impression you did right there.
We not remember the wins instead of the losses.
Vince, I told Vince, hey, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be white the rest of my life, so that's not gonna change, and I'm gonna keep yelling at you. Sorry. The Mac Brown of this all, you bring up a good point. Also, I mean, I'm sorry, but saying that Vince Young was smart was one of the reasons you recruited him because he had a 3.5 GPA. I mean, come on.
They did him no favors.
Come on. The dude, did he score a 6 on his Wonderlic?
I don't know. Was that him?
When he got to the NFL? Something that was just terrible. I mean, he misspelled Jeff Fisher's name when he wrote him a letter. We find out later also.
So that's something I noticed. I had not heard that story in totality. The way Fisher says it is, my name was misspelled, so I didn't know if Vince really wrote the letter. I would love to see the handwriting of this. That's what I thought. I would love to see the handwriting on the letter. That's all you got to say. You could check by the handwriting.
Do you think it was handwritten or did he type it?
If he typed it, then I would say the handwriting of how he spelled Jeff, though, is what I'm saying, or Fisher was. Which name was misspelled? If they spelled Jeff with a G, I doubt Vince Young wrote that.
Did he spell it with one F? Jeff, Jef?
I don't know. Or Fisher with a SCH maybe. I would have to figure out how it was misspelled to be able to determine if it was Vince who wrote the letter.
The dude, and they chronicle it well. The dude had a tough upbringing, okay, and not a great neighborhood in Houston. And he made his way, and he's a great athlete and did all this. I just think when you're talking about Hutton, you mentioned Mac Brown coddling him.
Yeah.
When Mac Brown is talking about, here's what we knew about Vince Young. He was smart, was what he starts with.
Yeah.
And saying and they flash his 3.5 GPA up and all of that. That feels like a plant from the Vince Young camp and all of that. He clearly had his difficulties in school, and it wasn't a priority. I understand there are factors and reasons behind that, and I'm sympathetic to all of those things. But they even talk about Hutton, how he talks personally about he didn't know a cover 3 from a man-to-man defense. Well, he's saying in it like that they had to tailor an offense that was completely Vince-centric because he couldn't do anything the coach was asking him to do from a mental standpoint with the game. Clearly there were warning signs to Jeff Fisher and everyone else that also might be an issue at the pro level.
He also came into an organization where the decision makers, some wanted him, some didn't. And ultimately it was the owner who wanted him. Chad, you laid out yesterday about how the mayor of Houston said she would jump off a bridge or something if Houston, Texas didn't draft Vince Young. And of course, Bud Adams, with the 3rd overall pick, said, we're absolutely going to draft him because I want to see the chick jump or whatever. Here is from Titans Radio, for the Titans Radio Network, WGFX. This is just a quick soundbite from the archives of Bud Adams describing his joy of knowing that his franchise had Vince Young as a rookie.
DY is the name of the game. That guy just knows how to win ball games. Does that rhyme together?
There's the late Bud Adams. VY is the name of the game.
I love that the Titans were just making these cataclysmic level decisions based on that thought process from Bud Adams. Man, that guy just knows how to win ball games. Huh?
Yeah,
how about that?
He knows how to win ball games. Look, at the time they had him, they had Lindell. They were eventually going to draft Chris Johnson. And it's not like they sucked whenever he was playing. Now, he didn't play all that well all the time, but he ends up winning Rookie of the Year. And if you look at the timeline, Chad, in 2008 against Jacksonville, he throws 2 interceptions. That's when he's booed by the fans. He sprains his MCL.
Did the Titans win that game? They won that game too, a close one.
They won that game, yeah.
Like 16-13, I think it was,
Yeah,
or something
of
like
course
that.
they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, 16-13 is about how all these went. But you go into the 2009 season. They go from 0-6 to 8, and becomes the starter again. He's 8-2. That's also the CJ 2K year, and he goes 8-2. And then 2010 is whenever you have the all of the drama, right? He's throwing the pads in the stands. You've got the whole deal where it's week 11 against Washington, and he wants to go back in the game. Fisher doesn't let him. And they had a 5-2 start that season. Now they finished where I think they won. They won only 6 games the entire season, but they started 5-2, and Vince was the starter during that. Played through some injuries and it didn't play bad. I mean, he had 9 touchdowns and 3 picks in the first few games. 61% completion percentage, 99% QBR. I mean, again, not like he sucked. We've seen some really bad quarterback play, but as you start to string things together, it feels like they were looking for a reason to go to Kerry Collins, and they did. They ultimately did. The year prior. This year, that 2010 year, they went to Rusty Smith, and then back to Kerry. It was awful. I say that the quote to me of the entire thing was Jeff Fisher saying, "There's no Longhorn painted on the team plane anymore." I mean, when he said that publicly, I'm thinking everything that Fisher's saying here has got to be somewhat true. And then you have Bo Scaife and Lindell bouncing their side of the story off of whatever Fisher's saying. I thought it was very well done. And I totally agree with Vince Young that the media leaks were coming from Fisher.
So that documentary did Jeff Fisher no favors. Okay, so let's say that first and foremost, the way it was painted and the way it was done. It's told from Vince Young's eyes, so I'm not surprised it didn't do Jeff Fisher any favors. And
Jeff, let me jump in. Let me jump in real quick on this. He wouldn't write him back, but he would do the documentary on Vince Young. That's also strange to me. That doesn't do him any favors either.
Yeah, he should have wrote him back. I mean, look, if he asked me like, what should I do? Yeah, just respond or call him or text him. Hey, I got your letter. Thank you. Like, there's no excuse to not. That's a level of bitterness that I don't think was warranted, quite frankly, with the whole situation.
Yes.
And that does not make him look good, and rightfully so. Now, I'll also say it was a terrible situation for both of them from the beginning, where Jeff Fisher was forced to have him as his quarterback. Yeah. He didn't want him. And everything that he thought or heard about Vince Young immediately became true with Vince Young. So it's like the confirmation bias happening with Jeff Fisher, right? I told you he couldn't read defenses. I told you he couldn't run a pro-style offense. I told you that partying was a problem. I told you that commitment was a problem, leadership, all these things, the reason I didn't want to go with him. And then it starts to become true. So what do? You start leaking it to the media. Yeah. So you're proven right by everything. I'm not saying Jeff Fisher handled these things correctly. I'm just saying that I understand where he was coming from in all this. And I understand where Vince is coming from with all this. But Vince could have helped himself a lot by doing what the smart people in his life were telling him to do. Not partying as much, being a better leader, maybe spending more time in the playbook and learning the offense, right? Like, there are a lot of things that Vince could have done to help himself as an NFL quarterback also, because you watch that documentary and the talent was always undeniable.
I totally agree with you, man. And Fisher, every time Fisher inserted Vince in a lineup, the team was winning. I mean, it's hard to dispute that just based on results. Now, it wasn't pretty. Chris Johnson had a lot to do with that. That game where he's throwing the pads into the stands. CJ had like 130 yards rushing that game. There are examples of them winning when he doesn't play all that well. But there are also like Monday Night Football in Dallas. He crushed it that game. Like there are times when, go figure, he's playing in Texas, where he was phenomenal. And let me also say this about Vince. I respect him a lot because of this. When the Heisman Trust took away Reggie Bush's Heisman. There was a lot of talk about giving it to Vince, and Vince was asked about it that same day at practice, and he said, "I don't want it. I didn't win it. That's Reggie's Heisman." Props to VY on that. That's how it should be. And Reggie should have never lost his Heisman based on the 10 grand or whatever it was. That was the whole issue with it, based on how we view things today. Point being, he could have made us, he was very bummed about not winning that award. And when it went to Reggie, and the fact that, I don't know I don't think they were very close at all, Reggie Bush and Vince Young. But the fact that that he didn't just say, yeah, you know what, I deserve it. I did things the right way. He didn't do that. And thankfully, it is where it should be, with where the voters put it, with Reggie Bush. I just say, people forget that Vince was actually offered it, which is crazy.
I think maybe the most 2005, 2006 thing about the whole documentary. I mean, everything about that game. They did a good job of profiling that game.
It was great.
And
I love
the magnitude of it, and getting the Matt Leinart and USC side of it, and
I agree.
all of that. The Pete Carroll snippets we saw was great. The magnitude of that game was on display. They did a good job on the documentary profiling that. But maybe the most 2006 thing about that whole thing was that Vince Young didn't win the Heisman. Because today, in any vote, the quarterback who did what Vince Young did,
right,
statistically, there's no doubt he's winning the Heisman over the running back in Reggie Bush, right? That's what was crazy about that vote that year to me. When you look, it wasn't as crazy then, but when you look back, you think there's no way Vince Young in 2026, if he does that again, isn't winning the Heisman Trophy.
And that tells you how man, can you imagine being on campus with Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush? Lindell White.
Well, Will Ferrell showing up at practices then, it's Snoop Dogg. Like, it was a very celeb-centric program, too, that Pete Carroll built with USC. That would have been a heck of a time to be a Trojan.
Final thought here. Jeff Fisher wanted Matt Leinart. He tried to paint it like Norm Chow wanted Matt Leinart. They hired Norm Chow because of Matt Leinart. It was Floyd Reese who wanted Jay Cutler. And then
revisionist history on that one. He picked it because Matt Leinart was also a bust. So saying that you wanted a guy who had a longer NFL career is easy to paint now.
How quickly all the decision makers forget how many questioned Jay Cutler because he was at Vandy.
It's also really funny part where Lindell's laughing. I know you saw it last night when he's like, "Don't walk out on your team."
Oh yeah.
And they're like, "Well, he's not walking out on us. He's pretty clearly walking out on you, bro."
And then many don't know, or many remember Bo Scaife, but haven't thought about him in a while. Interesting tidbit. Kyle Shanahan's his best friend. Kyle Shanahan and Chris Sims all have the same tattoo on their ankle.
The Longhorn?
It's a Longhorn, but it's like a very specific way they did it. I don't know. It was just whenever the Titans brought in Chris Sims for that brief stint, I remember Bo saying something about that with Kyle Shanahan, who was like the offensive coordinator at the time in Washington. Anyway, that it's kind of crazy to think that Bo is best friends with Kyle Shanahan. And you see him sitting there with Lindell in the way they're talking.
There's some tattoo artist in Austin, Texas right now that's somewhere at a lunch or at a breakfast, and he's bragging about how he inked the same Longhorn tattoo on all those guys. That's his claim to fame, because it's got to be the same artist that they all went to that got the same exact design.
How drunk were they? That's the next question we got to find out.
Hopefully very drunk.
Lindell, yeah. I appreciate Bo and Lindell being very blunt and honest in this.
If you get a team logo, tattooed on your body, my hope is that you're inebriated as you did it. That's my solemn hope that was the case.
Yes. I would like to know who the other player was that they may have asked to be a part of this. Like, we can ask Keith Bullock if he was asked.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't there for the entire time, but he was there. I don't know who else would have been tight with him like that.
That's the one thing missing. It's a good point. I wanted to see more Titans of that era interviewed. There was just not enough people on camera.
And you know who else
talking about that era?
Kerry Collins.
Tom Collins.
Kerry Collins would have been a good one too. I bet he was asked. If they asked Jeff Fisher, they'll ask Kerry Collins.
Well, especially being in that quarterback room with everything going on, would have been great.
Chad, coming up, we've got new uniforms. As if, it's like the highest paid player in the NFL. It's always the next one. Just turn around and there will be a new record contract. Just wait 24 hours. There will be a new uniform somewhere for some football team or franchise. That's next here on Hutton Withrow. Sport and State, founded by Clay Travis. XXXY Athletics, founded by Jennifer Say, former national champion gymnast, former Levi's brand president. She walked away from a corporate job rather than to say something she didn't believe, and she started XXXY Athletics instead. The mission, in their words, empower female athletes and take a stand for fair competition. They call it the T that launched a movement. And this is real athletic apparel here, like the authentic, one of a kind Nashville Balls gear. You can get it. Clay Travis's uh, future WNBA franchise, the next WNBA franchise right here in Nashville, the Nashville Balls, Chad.
Worn by athletes who've actually put something on the line. And that's right, Hutton. The Nashville Balls official apparel is here. Tees, trucker hats out now. If you want the shirt, that's where you get it. New customers get 20% off your first order when you sign up and free shipping over $100. xxxyathletics.com. That's xx-xyathletics.com. Get your Nashville Balls merch at XXXY.
That's right. So, every NFL team's doing this. This doesn't have anything to do with the new uniforms for the Titans. If they had their pick, I'm sure they wouldn't even choose to wear navy whatsoever. But they're going to. This is the rivalry series uniforms for the NFL. Every team's doing it, and the Titans are going to have this in navy. I don't like it. It looks better whenever it's light blue and you have the outlines in navy. Chad, it's got Music City on it. They're going to wear it once this year. They've got the road uniforms too, which I think are just all white. But the other uniforms are going to sell. I don't see why this one would sell unless you're from Nashville and you want Music City on your chest.
And this uniform looks like the Houston Texans and the Detroit Lions made love and had a child, and then they birthed this uniform.
Well,
there's nothing Titans
that,
about this. I looked at the helmet and the design of it, and I thought Detroit Lions right away was my thought when I saw the uniform. And then I see everything else about the uniform, and I think, once again, going back to the fascination with the city of Houston and the Texans, that it's a Texans uniform, not a Titans. I don't like it. Again, I reserve judgment until I see it on the field. But
yes.
As a connoisseur of all things uniforms, this to me seems pointless. It's kind of like having a solution to the Pro Bowl, right? I think you laid out what's probably going to happen. But my thought is, why even do that? I just don't. These uniforms seem like a solution to a problem that doesn't exist, and seems completely unnecessary to me. So I'm not a big fan.
Jacob, I'm sending you one more because this is the Houston Texans trolling Amy Adams-Strunk with theirs. They're trying to look like the Oilers without wearing the Columbia blue. You'll see what I mean in a second. They did a decent job with it.
So are we done with the color rush now? Is that no longer a thing? Like, we're having our own college football color rush with Tennessee and Alabama this year?
This is not color rush. It's called rivalry. I don't know.
Does this replace color rush, or are we still doing color rush too?
No, thank God. I'm tired. I'm thankful we're doing away with color rush.
Okay.
This should be a lot better. This is just Nike selling some jerseys.
The color rush had a tendency to make everything look like a cheap arena football league knockoff.
Everything looked like a Walmart brand.
Yes.
Of Abercrombie and Fitch.
It looked like Iowa Barnstormers uniforms. Like, it looked like arena football league teams.
Yeah.
Playing against each other. If you're going to do anything in a sport like the NFL,
it looked like iron-on.
Yeah.
Instead of stitched.
Some of them look like Iron Man, like the actual suit from Iron Man that they were wearing. It looks very cheap. But if you're going to have a league and a brand that people hold with such reverence, then go back to the past. Just in general, go back to something that's classic, that's from a different era. Don't paint the fake leather helmets on or whatever. But I think if you're going to do alternate uniforms, instead of looking to the future, you can look to the future for your next uniform, your actual uniform, whenever you change it. But instead of trying to do something futuristic or now, look to the past.
Yes.
Do something classic. If you're doing a rivalry series, then go back to a classic uniform for your franchise that was a big part of a rivalry with the team that you're playing in that rivalry uniform. Do something more like that than what we're seeing.
So I think there's a home and away for this. I think the home uniform for the Houston Texans will be red, I think. But what do you think about this, Chad? This is the best way they control the Titans, I think, is their goal here, going with the Columbia blue numbers, which is not against the rules. And how about the slogan, by the H, for the H, us, Houston?
And we could do like the Rorschach test where you look at something and give you my immediate response to a team. We could probably do that with every rivalry series jersey. When I just glance over at the screen and I see what we're showing right now,
it's hard to see.
The team that jumps to mind is SMU. That is the SMU football uniform and helmet. That is not an NFL uniform. That looks like SMU to me.
Well, they can't follow their old school uniforms if they wanted to, because it's all owned by the Titans. They can't use the font or the like the symmetry of the red stripe or anything. It's just crazy.
They're not going to go back to the David Carr.
I don't know if you
uniforms.
knew this, Chad, but the Oilers were also in Tennessee.
That's true. That's true. The David Carr uniforms that weren't different at all than the current ones for the Texans. I mean, that's the era you'd have to go back to, was when they were first in the league. But look, it's a solution to a problem that doesn't exist. I think too often leagues try to do this thing. When you try to reinvent the wheel or fix something that's not broke, it leads to stupidity. And I look at most of these uniforms and I think stupidity. And I'll say this too. You're going to have media members that cover the Titans that are probably being sent things to post about buying the rivalry uniform and how great it looks, or being sent copy points. I'm going to go the opposite direction and tell everyone out there, you are an idiot if you buy one of those uniforms. Do not give into this. Do not buy that uniform. I am not a jersey person. If you are and you want to buy a jersey, buy the new Titans jersey. Do not buy the alternate Music City Titans jersey, because that would be stupid.
Well, also Carnell Tate right here. I mean, is he George McIntyre?
He looks very small.
He looks thin.
I didn't realize that was Carnell Tate until you said that. I thought that was just a male model they hired to sport the uniform. I seriously didn't even give it two thoughts that was number 14, Carnell Tate. Carnell Tate is not a small guy.
No, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't look like him, but
does he have a 25-inch waist?
I
haven't fitted a pants that small since 7th grade.
He's a bigger dude. He's a bigger dude in the normal uniforms. I'm just looking at this going, is this George McIntyre at Tennessee?
Yeah.
Real thin. Hey, fun show today.
He's certainly bigger than me in certain areas than I was in 7th grade. I can guarantee that.
Same.
But not in the waist. We have the same waist size.
Oh man. Coming up next round live, we're going to see the guys later this evening. You can see them right now here at Sport and State. And will you see Ariel?
We're headed to Birmingham, Hutton. We're headed to Birmingham.
Absolutely. Will you see Kelly and Ariel? Or will you watch AI? I don't know. According to some outlets, some streaming services.
I think they're back now. Yeah, they're back.
Enjoy the day. Enjoy all the shows right here on Sport and State, and enjoy Next Round Live starting right now.